Friends, they share our joys and pains and are privy to some of our deepest secrets. Sadly, some friends betray this trust in the most shocking way possible. Mirna Salihin was newly married and was about to begin her honeymoon with her husband. Sadly, her life and plans were cut short by a sadistic friend and a cup of coffee. Welcome to this channel. Today, we'll be taking a look at the case of Mirna Salihin. Before we continue, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with our latest videos. This shocking case would go on to become one of Indonesia's most notorious cases in 2016. So sit back as we take a look into the bone-chilling murder of Mirna Salihin. Mirna was born on the 30th of March 1988 with a twin sister, Sandy. Growing into her teenage years, Mirna developed an interest in design and decided to undertake that degree in Australia, becoming a student at Sydney's Billy Blue Design College in the year 2007. Being new to the area, Mirna was eager to find other Indonesian students that she could bond and befriend, and she quickly became acquainted with other foreign students, including Hani Boon and Jessica Wongso. Mirna and her friends enjoyed the amazing weather, vibrant nightlife, and beautiful scenes that Sydney offered, but after 4 years, their time in college came to an end. The friends parted amicably, and they went on their separate ways. After graduating, Mirna and Hani returned to their home countries, while Jessica stayed in Sydney to become a permanent resident in Australia. Mirna went back to Sydney in 2014, and it was during this time that she reconnected with Jessica. Sadly, however, it seemed that time had changed their relationship and that they were not so compatible anymore. Mirna and Jessica got into an argument at a restaurant they went to after Mirna told Jessica that she didn't approve of her boyfriend and advised her to leave him. This made Jessica angry to the point that she stood up and walked out on Mirna while they were still eating, leaving her to pay for the entire meal. This event ruined what was left of Mirna and Jessica's relationship, and Mirna returned to Indonesia. Back in Sydney, Jessica was struggling with various issues in her life. Over the following year and through to 2015, Jessica slid into depression. She tried to commit suicide multiple times and was hospitalized 5 times throughout the year. Jessica also started abusing alcohol, and she now seemed completely different from the funny and bright person she used to be. Jessica also lost her job about 4 months after she crashed her car into a nursing home while driving under the influence. Mirna's life, on the other hand, was going the opposite direction to Jessica's. After returning to Indonesia with her boyfriend, their relationship became more serious, and in November 2015, Mirna and her boyfriend Arif Sumarko traveled to Bali to get married. Friends and family members of Arif and Mirna came to Bali to watch the young couple express their love for one another. But out of the large number of friends who came to celebrate the couple's special day, Jessica was absent. When Jessica got the news that Mirna had gotten married without inviting her, it seemed to enrage her, as she was still angry with Mirna over their argument in the restaurant, and now she had been dumped and forgotten about. As the problems she faced increased, Jessica decided to face them indirectly and left Australia for Indonesia to escape all the chaos. Allegedly, Jessica sent some text messages to a friend in which she said, "I could use the money to have an epic holiday. Rather than giving money to those ignorant police, I'm being pushed again and again. I will break." In late 2015, Jessica left Sydney for Indonesia. 2 days after landing in Jakarta, she reached out to Mirna, asking her if she wanted to meet for coffee. Mirna was worried about meeting Jessica alone, so her husband brought up the idea of Mirna going along with a friend to meet up with Jessica. Mirna accepted Jessica's invitation, as Jessica had agreed for a mutual friend, Hani, to be invited as well. They chose to meet on the 6th of January at 5 p.m. at a coffee shop located in one of Jakarta's busy shopping centers. Jessica decided to buy drinks for the group, which was something she had never done in any of their previous get-togethers. Hani and Mirna, however, rejected her offer, saying they'd buy their drinks when they got there, but Jessica insisted which was a bit strange. What was stranger, however, was when Jessica arrived at Olivier's at 3:30 p.m., 1 hour and 30 minutes earlier than the group agreed to meet. CCTV captured her entering the cafe's front door and taking a seat. However, she would leave only 2 minutes later, after quickly scouting the area. 32 minutes after leaving the cafe, Jessica returned carrying 3 shopping bags. The bags were from Bath and Body Works, a shop located about 2 minutes away from the cafe, with each bag allegedly holding a small bottle of soap. Jessica then spent the next few minutes walking around the restaurant, suspiciously looking up at the ceiling and walls. At 4:15 p.m., which was about 45 minutes earlier than their scheduled meet-up time, Jessica ordered 1 iced Vietnamese coffee for Mirna and 2 cocktails for herself and Honey. As she waited for Mirna and Honey to arrive, Jessica placed the 3 shopping bags in front of the drinks she ordered effectively, blocking everyone's view of the drinks. What was even stranger was the fact that she just also happened to be seated in a surveillance dead zone. However, footage from a faraway camera showed the movements of the drinks behind her makeshift wall of shopping bags. Mirna and Honey arrived at Olivier's at 5:16 p.m. After hugging and exchanging greetings with Jessica, they sat down at the table. Shortly after sitting down, Mirna takes a drink from her Vietnamese iced coffee. Just 2 seconds later, she became agitated. She started to cough and tried to fan herself. She also complained to Honey and Jessica that her drink tasted funny. Less than a minute later, Mirna's head lurched backward and she collapsed in her seat. She also started convulsing and frothing at the mouth. Nearby customers and staff at Olivier's rushed to Marnie to assist her as Jessica and Honey watched on. As Mirna's health worsened, Jessica began to accuse the coffee shop of tampering with Mirna's coffee, asking them what they put in there. The coffee owner, in response to Jessica's accusations, took the coffee away to potentially analyze it in case it was tampered with. Mirna was rushed to a nearby hospital, only 1 mile away. Sadly, she would pass away during the 5-minute trip to the hospital. Her husband Arif rushed to be at his wife's side. However, before he got there, his wife had already passed away. He lost his wife barely a month into their marriage and didn't even get the chance to say goodbye. The police got in touch with the staff at Olivier's and took Mirna's drink in for forensic analysis. 3 days later, the results from the analysis revealed that Mirna's drink had been spiked with cyanide. It was also noted how strange it was that Jessica was the first person to accuse that the drink was tampered with at a time when there was no suspicion or doubt. On January 10, 2016, about 4 days after Mirna's death, an autopsy revealed that there were traces of cyanide in Mirna's body as well as bleeding in her stomach. Cyanide is a potent poison that kills within minutes once ingested. Police investigating Mirna's death also noted Jessica's strange behavior before, during and after Mirna's poisoning. Jessica's strange behavior was also noticed at Mirna's funeral, where she seemed emotionally constipated. All these clues led to an increasing amount of suspicion about Jessica's involvement in Mirna's death. Finally, on January 30, 2016, Indonesian police arrested Jessica on suspicion of premeditated murder. As part of their investigation, detectives interviewed Jessica's former manager named Christy. As Jessica's supervisor, Christy spent a lot of time with Jessica, and she observed how Jessica had a nasty attitude and an abundance of hatred. When asked if she considered Jessica to be a violent person, Christy replied by saying, "I have no doubt that Jessica is capable of hurting or killing another person." Jessica had also threatened Christy in the past, telling her that she knew how to poison and kill someone if she wanted to. The Australian Federal Police also agreed to cooperate with the Indonesian police after it was agreed that the death penalty would be removed from any verdict reached on the case. The reports released by the Australian Federal Police detailed how Jessica had attempted to take her own life, multiple times had displayed threatening behavior toward colleagues, was in a major alcohol-fueled accident, and how she had an apprehended violence order taken out against her by her ex-boyfriend after his car was vandalized soon after his breakup with Jessica. Jessica's trial began in mid-June and would go on for 4.5 months. Although Jessica's defense argued that the court had no evidence of her possession of cyanide and no evidence of her putting cyanide into Mirna's coffee, enough evidence suggested that Jessica was indeed responsible for Mirna's death. Jessica Wongso was found guilty of the murder of Mirna Salihin on 27 October 2016, and she was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Even though Marnie's killer was found and sentenced, it is almost impossible to look at this case without feeling that the sentence was too small, especially when you consider that Jessica cut short the life of a young, promising woman with her whole future ahead of her. She also destroyed the marriage of Arif Sumarko and brought grief and pain to Marnie's family and friends. All for what? Greed and vengeful thoughts. After Mirna's death, her widower Arif moved back to Australia to being a new life, and after what he has been through, we wish him all the best. Do you think Jessica's sentence was too light? Let us know in the comments, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.